You found Roger Bacon inside the secret library.
I know it's around here somewhere. Well, what took you so long?
Roger,
The mummy
I
that was
haven't...
in the coffin? Since when have you two been acquainted?
I am no mummy. My name is Roger Bacon, and I'm just like any normal old man.
Hey, I've been around for 20 years, and I have yet to run across an old man as abnormal as yourself.
I see. Well, I've been around for 600 years, and I've seen plenty of abnormal people just like myself.
My dear old man, might you be related to the great warlock Roger Bacon, who made such a name for himself in the 13th century?
You are very knowledgeable. I am that warlock, Roger Bacon, you speak of.
You mean to tell me that you were born in 1210 and have remained alive and well until the present date of 1898?
Actually, to be precise, I was born in 1214.
Koudelka, what type of a joke is this?
That's my question.
Well, this is no joke. I am the reputable Roger Bacon.
Very well then. If you were truly that Roger Bacon, then you'll be able to tell me with whom and where you studied.
Oh, that's easy. I entered Oxford in 1247 and studied under the tutelage of Robert Grosseteste. Although a good professor, I would not consider him to be a wise man. I penned my masterpiece, Opus Maius, as well as numerous other books on natural science. Being a visionary pioneer, I must say that my work has influenced generations of work that followed. But alas, in hindsight, that work pales in comparison to the work I did copying the Immigré document for the Pope.
The Immigré documents. I figured you would know about that book.
Of course. It took me 5 years to copy the book in its entirety. I know everything there is to know about the book.
What is it about?
Oh,
Is
it unravels the secrets of life that expand far beyond the largest field. It speaks of the secret rituals conducted by the ancient race of Fomors on immortality. The Fomors would claim the lives of the resurrected as their own. They reversed the laws of nature and the cycle of life. When the Druids took over the Celts, Alexander the Great penned the Immigré documents in Greek for placement in the Great Library.
Resurrecting the dead.
Oh,
It
the
is true.
document has long been considered the most dangerous work of literature. It was safely guarded in the caverns of the Supreme Pontiff's quarters. But apparently, the book was not able to withstand the wears of time over generations. And the Pope decreed that a new edition be created by copying the full text. That is where I came in. The Pope requested that I copy the book word for word. And when the work was finished, apparently, I was supposed to be killed. But I am not one to be dealt with so carelessly. I secretly escaped, and eventually I made my way to the sacred land referred to in the text of the Immigré document.
And the secret rituals? Don't tell me.
You need look no further than myself.
And you succeeded.
Though I cannot perform the same on others, yes, I have been able to escape the hands of death. But I have not been able to escape the roots of existence, which are the seeds of change. My body is not immune to change, as you can see by my hideous appearance. I've had nothing to do other than roam the earth for the last 300 years. I've seen all I can take of mankind's cruelty. So, I returned here for some rest. Well, enough of this gossip. I've got some research to do. May I ask to be left alone?
He's having so much fun. All of the actors, but especially him, it's so great to watch. Is there food on that table? Are those slices of meat? I never guessed that Edward would be my most useless character. Usually it's James. We gotta make him stronger. We gotta make you less strong. What do I have? Huh? What did I forget to do? Oh. Well then. Ooh. Let's have everyone eat some bread. Oh wait, she didn't eat it. Oh well. Something's not right. You see a portrait of a young woman. The frame reads, "My dear wife, Elaine." so cool and creepy. His legs. Imagine how cool this would look at a higher polygon count. Better textures and stuff like that. His level went up. Oopsie. Yeah. I'm gonna try to level up Tornado. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Yeah. Ouch. I, of course, could finish the battle faster with Flare, but I don't wanna. I wanna level up the spells that I haven't leveled up yet. And 3 is the max. For weapons and magic. you can do in battle is just like switch to different weapons instead of using your turn to reload your gun. That would be more effective if you were going for like, I don't know, the most damage, or if you were having trouble. Like, I could use the same turn as I would to reload a rifle as I could to switch to my bow gun. So even though I have to reload that every time, I could just, if I run out of bullets, it would be fine to like switch to my bow gun and get a lot of damage on that. And then switch again when that runs out. Automatic pistol. DA pistol.
So this is Elaine.
Yes. She's the one I had the psychic vision of. Do you doubt it?
No, indeed.
Good. Let's begin.
It has been a long time indeed, Mr. O'Flaherty.
Oh, Elaine, is that really you?
Yes, it is. It is such a pity that we meet again, and I can only present myself to you in this form. This is the woman that responded to my voice, is it not? Thank you for doing this for someone like myself.
Elaine, I haven't yet come to terms. Please tell me how this happened to you.
Of course I will explain. James. 18 years ago, I was murdered by some thieves that broke into my home. I was helpless. Both Patrick and Ogden were out on business. There was nothing that anyone could do.
I will not accept this. This should not have happened.
Yes, Patrick responded the same exact way. He could not accept my death. He spent years and years perfecting his craft in wizardry and tried everything in his power to bring me back to life.
Resurrecting the dead? Is this for real? Hey, we're not talking about Frankenstein here.
Frankenstein?
That novel written about 100 years ago?
He was taking it very seriously. And he had found the key to actually make it happen.
The immigrant document.
Yes. With Ogden's assistance and the powers from ancient druids, he held a resurrection ceremony in this monastery.
But something went wrong, didn't it?
He only resurrected my physical body. As you can see, my soul is still doomed to roaming the universe, forever separated from my body. And the terrifying thing is that my body was resurrected as a heartless monster.
Monster.
Although the monster may look like me, it is not me. Mr. O'Flaherty, please turn my body into ashes with your power.
Ashes. But if I do that, we won't be able to bring you back to life.
Mr. O'Flaherty, I was robbed of my life by those thieves, and I could hate them as mortal enemies. Choose to think that my death was preordained by the Lord. Please, do not mourn my death. It was wrong for Patrick to try to resurrect me. To undo the work of God. Please do not be sad. Death is at the heart of God's reasoning. I urge you to destroy my body. Its existence defies the wise providence of heaven. It mustn't exist in this world.
Wait! Elaine! God! Curse! What a cruel world! I gave everything for your happiness, and now what am I left with? I have no meaning in my life. Damn it! What have I been doing with my life? Elaine! Elaine!
Another great scene. Gosh, everyone does such a good job. It really shows the importance of having the voice actors be in the same room as each other when they read their lines, so they can like work off of each other's energy. You found a gramophone, but it can't be played as there's no disc inside. Do you want to put the disc in the gramophone? The disc begins to play, filling the room with a melody. You found a hidden drawer. Inside it is a book titled Research Notes. You got research notes. Yeah, we're not gonna read this while in with this music. Good. Okay, let's read the research notes now. Research notes. September 10th, 1895, and just so you know, this is long. Rain. With the monastery renovation completed, I finally moved in with Ogden and Bessie. It's been a long road since I first procured the emigre file. Even after referencing literature of all ages, the rendering of the text still remains a difficult task. Though it has been 4 years since I first laid eyes on it, never once has its enigma left the recesses of my mind. Contained in it are countless descriptions of the source of the energy that is the secret to life's existence, the Druids' cryptic experiment taken from the ancient Celts and recorded by Alexander the Great hundreds of years before Christ. Branded a forbidden enterprise, it was kept hidden by the Vatican's cardinals in the depths of the Pope's quarters for a very long time, and now I have it in my hands. I have reached Wales, the land referred to in the text. I will fulfill my wife Elaine's resurrection at this monastery built by St. Daniel Scotius. Of course, I am aware that my act could prove insolent in the eyes of the Lord, and however people may censure my actions, the love I have for my wife will never cease. I ask of you, Lord, to turn your eyes away for a short while. November 16th, 1895. Rain. The more I learn about this monastery, the more eerie the structure appears to me. Ogden mentioned that the hospice had been full of corpses at one time a few hundred years ago, and I had become aware of an oppressing sense of mortal sin as I walked through the underground passageways. I can feel haunting spirits everywhere. But, according to the emigre file, the power of such resentful spirits are considered the driving force behind reviving the Druid's cryptic experiment. I plan to fill this place with the all-consuming ire of these spirits. Even though I may burn in hell for these sins, if Elaine can be brought back to life, I shall have no regrets. December 5th, 1895. Rain. I found out that the cauldron hidden in the basement held the key to the secret. Even though the book had mentioned it, the well-positioned trick door kept us from locating its whereabouts. The cauldron looks as if it is made of gold, but upon closer examination, the surface is so old that one cannot determine how long it has been in existence. I would guess that it is a prehistoric artifact made a few thousand, or maybe even tens of thousands of years ago, and left to sit. We must quickly set up an altar and begin preparations for our ceremony. December 16th, 1895. Rain. I ordered Ogden to acquire some livestock. 320 chickens and 43 pigs were purchased through a supplier in town. I arranged for ground transportation, but the fog did not help expedite the undertaking. I expect to be busy as soon as the delivery arrives. Animal offerings are an integral part of the Druid experiment. The cauldron must be filled with the freshest blood and flesh. This is where it begins. February 24th, 1896. Rain. The third experiment. Still no response. Even though I follow directions and offer the proper prayers, there are no signs of the spirits gaining any strength. I must return to the book and reread some parts since I cannot proceed if there has been some misunderstanding of the text. Is there a problem with the way I conducted the experiment, or are the offerings insufficient? Regardless, I need to think this over. Even though I may arrive at a terrifying realization, it is too late to fear anything now. I have come too far to be impeded by fear. I am sure Ogden will understand. March 19th, 1896. Rain. Return from London. The specially ordered carriage seems to be working very well. I have trapped 3 women in the baskets and back. I lured some victims out of an alley in the East End, had them sniff some chemicals, and pulled them into the carriage. But since I was not used to my new role as an abductor, it took more time than I had planned. I could not have done this without Ogden's help. I am deeply grateful to him. March 25th, 1896. Rain. I'm still at a loss. I cannot make up my mind. Even if I can bring Elaine back to life, are my actions forgivable? I balk when presented with this dilemma. Bessie has been taking care of the women I've kidnapped. It's better than them freezing in some corner of London. I hope this small gesture of kindness will be considered as an a priori act of repentance. I wonder if my small kindness will have any significance when held up to the horrendous act I'm about to commit. March 31st, 1896. Rain. I must make my mind up. I must. April 3rd, 1896. Storm. Dear Lord, I have without a doubt committed a crime no human should have committed. I conducted the Druid experiment using the flesh and blood of the victims. I sensed the incredible energy of the spirits culminate into one when I poured the women's remains into the cauldron. As I had thought before, it is human flesh that needs to be offered up to fully release the effects of the procedures. What a frightening, arcane process this is. The sounds of fury and the woman's death screams have not left my ears, but I must go on. There is no turning back now. April 12th, 1896. Rain. Once again, I perform the procedures. I once again round up 4 victims from London. Even though they are all old with barely a thing to live for, when I contemplate taking their lives, it leaves me sick to my stomach. It may be due to my doubts that the spirits did not rise to such a powerful strength as before. I may have to use a younger, more vibrant source of energy. The book says to fill the cauldron with energy of haunted spirits. I wonder how many victims the cauldron must swallow to be satisfied. June 5th, 1896. Rain. I do not have enough victims. The saintly presence of Daniel Scotius inhibits us from claiming authoritative power. I have concluded that it will be necessary for us to offer many more lives before we are finished here. I have since found 35 more victims for 7 separate experiments, but the spirits have not responded with much strength. For me to accomplish the resurrection, I am in dire need of the culminated strength of the spirits. I must come up with a way. I must come up with a more efficient way to procure my victims. July 15th, 1896. Rain. I finally received the first shipment of my victims. Ogden was right when he suggested that we should offer the lord of the slave trade an enormous amount of money for this matter. He has no compassion for human life. The victims are not given much information and arrive at the monastery expecting a routine night's work. It is not necessary for us to go hunting for prey in town. With a few sugar-coated lies, there are plenty of people that climb right into the carriage. There is no one that will dare speak of what is to become of them. September 9th, 1896. Rain. Poured the remains into the cauldron. The energy levels in the cauldron have clearly increased, which make me happy, since it proves that I am heading in the right direction. It seems that lately I have become more efficient at performing the tasks required for the procedures. However, Ogden and I cannot expect to become much more productive, as it is impossible for us to hire help, since we must keep this matter purely clandestine. I've decided to place an order for a laboratory table from an equipment manufacturer in Manchester. It will take about a month to make, but once we receive this, we will be able to manage many more experiments. October 3rd, 1896. Rain. Butchered 3 bodies since morning. After lunch, we made repairs to the bell tower of the main church. After dinner, with Bessie and Ogden, I butchered 3 more bodies. The lab table has proven its worth. The spirits have certainly increased in strength. At this rate, I may finish preparing for Elaine's resurrection before All Saints' Day. October 14th, 1896. Rain. 6 bodies butchered in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, 1 after dinner. November 1st, 1896. Rain. How I have been awaiting this day. The date to conduct Elaine's resurrection ceremony has finally arrived. The cauldron is brimming with the remains of my victims. The monastery is now consumed by the energy of the preternatural spirits. Even a saint could not hold his ground against the powerful energy of these hexed spirits. I took Elaine's body, which had been preserved in chemicals for this very day, and placed it on the altar. I then began reciting the ceremonial chant. Elaine, you are still as beautiful as ever. I love you so much. Please forgive me for calling you back from the land of the dead. November 7th, 1896. Rain. What is going on? I have lost all hope. All my efforts and dreams have been only an illusion. The tree of life that grew upwards out of the corpse as if wrapping Elaine's body was certainly the manifestation of the druid's cryptic experiments that I had been seeking. If God is capable of creating beings out of nothingness, then this indeed is a man-made example of his work. But to my horror, the image of my resurrected wife displayed in a flower petal looked just as she did before, yet it lacked a human soul. Indeed, it was a monster. Dear God, is this the punishment you have chosen for me? What have I accomplished by victimizing nearly 200 innocent people? My only hope in life lay in believing that resurrection was possible and dreaming of the day when my wife Elaine would join me here in life on Earth once again. Now I have nothing but a cauldron full of blood and hex spirits and a soulless monster. Is this the end that has been awaiting me? Dear Lord, have you no mercy? I only have one path left to follow. I have lost too much. I cannot even find words to apologize to Ogden, who has lent me his strength along the way. Now I only long to sleep in peace with my wife. So some of that you would have seen, you would have heard in that FMV where Koudelka first enters the library. You would have also heard James proposing to Elaine and her saying yes, and a bunch of other excerpts in the journal.